All right, hola clase. Aquí señor Ramos con ustedes. Es miércoles, el 23, 24 de febrero. Y hoy vamos a aprender sobre cambiando frases a preguntas. All right, today is Wednesday, our virtual day, and we are going to talk about changing a statement to a question. All right, so en español, all right, hay cuatro diferentes maneras de cambiar una frase a una pregunta. All right, in Spanish, there are four different ways you can change a statement to a question. All right, and we're going to talk about those today. All right, the first one is using an interrogative. So we just put those in our notes yesterday, right? The quién, qué, dónde, cuándo, por qué, cuántos, quiénes, right? All those question words, the who, what, where, why, when, how. You can start off a sentence with one of those interrogative, right? Those question words to ask your question. First one, very easy. The second one isn't any more difficult, but you simply raise the tone of your voice at the end of the statement. All right, so in this statement, he eats pizza. Right? If we raise our tone at the end, he eats pizza, right? All of a sudden, it becomes a question. So raising our tone of our voice at the end of the sentence will make it a question. Two very easy ways. Interrogative, raising your tone at the end of your voice at the end of the statement makes it a question. All right, the other one, a third one is a little bit more difficult. Not really when you stop and think about it, all right, but you can flip the subject and the verb. So we do this in English all the time, y'all. Don't make this harder than what it needs to be. All right, if we said the statement, they are listening to music, all right, they is the subject, are is the verb, right? So if we just flip them, and we put are first and they second, it becomes a question. Are they listening to music? All right, we do this in English all the time. He is eating pizza. Is he eating pizza? Right, now it's a question. We flip the subject and the verb. Okay, so you can flip the subject and the verb. Let's look at it in a Spanish example. Ellos escuchan música, right? They listen to music. Subject ellos, verb escuchan. Now we flip them and we put the verb first and the subject second. Escuchan ellos música. Do they listen to music? All right, it's the same thing we did with this example in English, it's just in Spanish. Okay? So flip-flopping subject and the verb. All right, let's review. Interrogative, all right, number one. Number two, you can raise your voice at the end. Number three, you can flip-flop the subject and the verb. All right, put the verb first, then the subject. Now you have a question. All right, the last one in Spanish is by adding a tag word. All right, and in Spanish we have two tag words. All right, we have no and we have verdad. All right, no, the meaning of these two can change. No is like you're asking for clarification, and verdad is like saying right. So you're going to school, right? No can change depending on who the subject is and what is you're saying, right? It can mean, like they are going to lunch, aren't they? Like ellos van al almuerzo. No, they're going to lunch, aren't they? Tú vas a estudiar. No, you're going to study, aren't you? Yo voy a jugar el béisbol. No, I'm going to play baseball, aren't I? Right? So it can change depending on what it is you're asking and who the subject is. But this is like saying isn't it, or aren't they, aren't I, all right, etc. When you add a tag word, you simply have your statement and then you just add the tag word at the end, and your question marks go around the tag word. All right, now you're not going to use both at the same time. It's either one or the other, Okay, but question marks go around the tag word, not around the whole sentence. Let's look at an example. All right, let's look at an example. Let me turn this. Sorry. All right, so yo necesito un lápiz, verdad? Right? I need a pencil, right? Notice the question marks go around the tag word. All right? Él va al cine. No. He's going to the movie theater. Isn't he? All right? Again, notice the question marks go around the tag word only, not in the beginning of the sentence. Only around the tag word. Okay? So if we look at this example here, where it says practica, all right, I have this statement. Ella estudia español. All right? She studies Spanish. At home, I want you to raise your voice at the end of this one and make it a question. It should sound something like this. Ella estudia español. Right? She studies Spanish. Ella estudia español. Right? Your voice gets higher. All right? The other way is to flip. Right? Estudia ella español. Does she study Spanish? Right? So we flip. Here's the verb, estudia. Here's our subject, ella. We flip them from this one. All right, and the last one, adding a tag word. Ella estudia español, ¿verdad? She studies Spanish, right? Right? We're asking for clarification. All right, so the three different ways that we can switch a phrase to a question. All right? In your homework, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to take sentences just like this, and then either flip it with the subject of the verb, or add a tag word, or both, right? One with the tag word, and one example by flipping the subject and the verb. All right, really good practice for you. Again, if you need to, you can always stop and pause, or rewind this video if you want to hear something again. All right? Also, today, we're going to talk about the verb ir. All right? The verb ir. All right, so the verb ir means to go. All right, know that it's an irregular. This doesn't follow your normal IR verb rules. We're not going to drop the IR and add a specific ending like we did with the ARs, all right? We'll get to how we conjugate regular IR verbs, but for all intents and purposes, this verb ir means to go, and it's irregular, which means it's going to have its own kind of crazy conjugation. When we conjugate it, it's yo voy, V-O-Y, tú vas, él, ella, usted va, nosotros vamos, we go, and ellos, ustedes van. So, voy, vas, va, vamos, van. And remember, because irregulars don't follow a pattern, you simply have to memorize them. It's really the only way. There's no key thing of dropping this and adding this and now you have it. You just got to memorize it. All right? All right, so that's the verb ir in a nutshell in its conjugation form. Voy, vas, va, vamos, and van. All right? Now note, when you are going somewhere or to do something, the verb ir will always be followed with ah. Will always be followed with ah. That's important. You can't leave it out. All right, so whenever you're going to a feminine place, all right, a plus la is going to stay the same, a la. So, a la biblioteca, a la dentista, a la oficina, it'll stay a la, okay? Whenever you're going to a masculine place, a plus L is going to change to al. It combines, we drop the E and we combine the A and the L. So, voy al cine, voy al correo, voy al dentista, if it's a male dentist, right? Voy al médico, al parque. All right, a masculine place, a plus L, is going to change to al. All right, again, because we're going to a place that's masculine. All right, if the place is feminine, no need to combine, it's just ala. Okay? Here's an example. Ella va a la escuela, or yo voy al cine. Here's where we would have our a plus L, becomes al. Okay? Some examples down here below I want you to look at and practice at home. We go to the bank, they go to the park, you go to the library. All right, so we're conjugating the verb ir according to the subjects. Remember, a has to go after it. If it's a feminine place, it stays a la. If it's a masculine place, it becomes al, and then the place. All right, do these, and I will have an answer sheet clarification so you can kind of gauge if you're doing these right on Schoology later on. All right. The verb ir, changing statements to a question. If you have questions, holler at me. You know how to get at me at email. If not, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Thursday, jueves, back at school. Hopefully, we don't get canceled for snow. All right. Chao pues. Adios.